I was working at a company that, despite being a multinational, had a very small staff due to its nature, very specialized medical field. This plus the constant staff absences from the office due to site and field trips meant that everyone, at all degrees of seniority, came and went from the head office and mucked in and did whatever needed doing whenever they were there. Eventually, however, it came to the point of needing a dedicated office person for answering the phone, data entry, filing etc. so the specialists could focus more on the medical work, and a girl was hired. I was away consulting on a side setup when she started, and this is what happened when I came back and met her. I got back in the morning and wasn't planning on working immediately after such a long trip. Instead, I was planning on, as I usually did on Wednesday when I was in the city, picking up my 5-year-old nephew from school and going to the park with him. We were going to drop off some papers and a case full of medical equipment at the office on the way. So I arrive at the office wearing jeans, with a child in tow. This is fairly unremarkable. Our job schedule is non-standard, and to accommodate this, drop-ins at all hours, in various states of sometimes casual dress are frequent. Me. Hi. You must be the girl's name. She cuts me off. Office girl. Og. What do you want? Me. Just dropping off the equipment case and some paperwork. Og doesn't bother to reply, just shrugs toward the back where the case goes. I put the papers on the edge of the desk in order to wrangle the case into its cupboard. Og, don't put them there. They don't belong there. Me, where would you like them? Og, where would I like them? Fear nothing to do with me. Just get them out of my way. Me, takes a deep breath. Remember, she has no way of knowing who I am or my role with the company. Actually, these need to be entered in the computer, so should I just hand them to you? Or do you have an in tray? Og, how about you do your work and stop trying to slough it onto me? And that child shouldn't be in here. My nephew, who has been in the office many times, looks startled at this and a bit upset. Me, I understood you were taking over in the office. She cuts me off again. Og, that's right. And as the manager, I need to tell you that in future you need to dress appropriately and do the work you're given. Me, another deep breath, tries to muster sympathy as Snoo possibly hasn't realized the jeans and the child aren't out of line for a quick drop off. I summon a smile for a final attempt at making the encounter more pleasant. I never finished introducing myself. Og, to my nephew, don't touch anything. Just because your mother, she meant me, lets you get away with coming in here doesn't mean I will put up with it. In fact, you can go and stand outside. Nephew is confused and distraught at this attack and bursts into tears. Me, suddenly not giving a damn if Snoo and losing all sympathy in the smile. No, I don't think so. Og, if you don't like it, you can take it up with the CEO. I'm a close personal friend as well as the manager here, and has happy for me to run the office as I see fit. Semicolon. Take it up with the CEO, she says. Malicious compliance time. I know he will be in shortly, so I decide to wait and do just that. Soon he comes in the door. Nephew, daddy, runs over and gets hugs. CEO, to me. Oh great, you're back. Have you met Og yet? Og, this is Doctor, name that is part of the company name, my business partner and sister. I hope you've been treating her well. He takes papers off me and hands them to her. Then he looks closer at his son. What's wrong, kiddo? Has someone not been nice to you? We didn't fire her, she just didn't show up the next day. Don't know what happened to her after that. She never contacted us for a reference. I love to cook, and my husband loves to eat. Win-win, right? Top it off with the fact that I like to serve him his meal while he gets to relax. It's just how I was raised, so I'm fine with it. So one day I make some homemade ice cream. I'm loving its texture, its flavor, its everything. Husband walks by and sees me eating, so he says, I'll have some ice cream, then sits his ass down in the living room. He was right fudging there. I was pissed. He was so lazy he wanted me to serve him when he already has to walk past the kitchen, where I stood eating right out of the container like the fattest I am, to get to the living room. Cue malicious compliance. I grab a bowl and fill it up. I call out, you want toppings? He yells back, hell yeah, I want toppings. He's not being mean, he's just excited. I'm preparing this bowl of ice cream with everything he loves. Chocolate syrup, caramel drizzle, homemade whipped cream, maraschino cherry, crushed up peanuts, hell, even a sliced up banana to turn it into an amazing banana split. After loading up the huge bowl of ice cream, I get 2 spoons and put one in the bowl. On the other one, I add a tiny piece of banana, tiny bit of ice cream and a touch of all the toppings, except the cherry. I walk over to him, and he's rearranging his gaming stuff, preparing to take the bowl from my hands. His eyes are glowing with joy at the sight of my beautiful creation and he's got a smile a mile long. I sit in my chair, hug the bowl, and pass him the spoon of ice cream. The look on his face was well worth my efforts. He was so sad for like a second before he broke into a fit of laughter. He acknowledged he was being lazy, thanked me for making ice cream in the first place, then got up and fixed himself a bowl. We still laugh about it months later, and he goes out of his way to serve me more often now. First grade, I was feeling very sick. I went to the nurse, she took my temp, it was normal, she sent me back to class. I did this 3 times that day. The last time she and my teacher made a big fuss. Said I didn't have a temperature and they wouldn't call my parents and that if I left my desk again I'd be in trouble. So first grader me starts feeling very nauseous. Eventually I couldn't hold it in anymore and I threw up onto my desk. It splashed back onto me and my fellow students on either side of me. Both of them threw up out of disgust. Along with 4 other students, 7 kids were sent home because they threw up when I threw up. My teacher asked why I didn't go to a trash. I reminded her that I was forbidden from leaving my desk again. I went hiking one spring with a friend of a friend. I kept telling him to stay away from the poison oak and gave him a tiny lecture on how to identify it. He insisted that it wasn't poison oak. I insisted it was. After several disagreements when encountering this plant, I suggested that if he really believed it wasn't poison oak he would rub it on his face. Surprisingly, he did. Next week he showed up at my house to collect some items he had left at my house with a massively swollen red face. I said nothing. He said nothing. I felt bad, but not as bad as he felt, I'm sure. My malicious suggestion was taken up by the stubborn argumentative type, and I felt bad about it. Suffice it to say we never went hiking again. I worked at this small McDonald's in 2009. I have tons of these stories as it was in the unfortunate area of town, but this one is my favorite. This woman peeps into the drive-thru and asks for an extra large strawberry milkshake, which is a size McDonald's doesn't/didn't have, although they do have a large, which is a good liter. This woman insists that I give her an extra large. I inform her that I cannot conjure cups. She demands her milkshake and goes to the window. I take her money, give her the large one, and think that her order is done. No, she throws this milkshake at me and demands an extra large. Manager wants to step in, but I get crafty. We had these buckets you would give to kids with Happy Meals. I tell the runner to crank the machine to the brim. I get my hoard of strawberry cow sludge and cover that bastard with cling wrap and poke a straw into it, hand this to the lady and just say we ran out of extra large cups. She snatched it from me and peels out of the place. Comes back in a minute later, covered in milkshake. Apparently she went over a speed bump going 50 and it went off like a grenade. Manager said he'd give her our biggest size, large, for free. She goes on basically the same rant. Had to get this woman taken out of the place by cops, kicking and screaming about her milkshake. If you enjoyed the stories, slap the like and subscribe button for more of them, and don't forget to support the original writers with an upvote. Links are in the description. Peace out, and catch you tomorrow.